Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about answers to reading quiz chapter 8. So let's start with the first question. Which of the following characteristics does not describe a perfectly competitive market? So in a perfectly competitive market, there are many buyers and sellers. There are many sellers and firms are very small in size, so they cannot affect the price in the market. So these firms are price takers. Price takers means that there is a price in the market which is determined by demand and supply. So when we say supply here, we are referring to all firms in the market, and demand refers to all buyers, and they interact in the marketplace and there is an equilibrium price, and whatever this price, all firms are going to charge this price. They do not have power to change the price. So a perfectly competitive firm cannot increase price from $10 if the market price is $10 to $11, because if that is the case, this firm is going to lose all the customers. All customers are going to buy the product from the firms that are selling at $10. The reason is simple, because in perfectly competitive market, the firms are selling identical products. Identical products such as agricultural commodities. For instance, just think about rice the farmers are selling. Instead of buying $11 a pound of rice, people are going to buy $10 a pound of rice from another farmer. And also, these small firms do not want to decrease the price from $10 to $9. The reason is prices are set at the lowest possible in this market. So $10 represents the price that firms are making zero economic profit. Zero economic profit doesn't mean that the firms do not make any economic profit. But if the price goes down to $9, firms may make losses. Therefore, they do not prefer to lower the price too. So that's the idea of price taking assumption. And given this information now, we can find out which of the characteristics does not describe a perfectly competitive market. The first one, many firms are producing identical products, is correct. There are many people who desire and have the ability to purchase the product. This is correct. Firms set different prices for their product, either or above the equilibrium. This is not correct. The last option, companies are able to enter and exit the market without any restrictions. This is also another characteristic of perfectly competitive market. The firms can enter or exit the market anytime they want. Second question. Why is the perfect competition often used as a benchmark? So in real life, we do not find many examples of perfectly competitive markets, but there are competitive markets, and by understanding perfectly competitive market decision making, you can easily understand the competitive markets. So one example of perfectly competitive markets is, I said, agricultural commodities, because the products could be identical if the farmers are selling identical products. And for that reason, we usually use perfectly competitive market as a benchmark. So let's read the answers. It provides a useful comparison to markets that operate in more complex real-world conditions. This is the correct answer. In real world, all markets are perfectly competitive. This is not correct. It accounts for a variety of issues like pollution, invention of new technology, poverty, and so on. This is not correct. The perfect competition model is more frequently observed in the real world compared to other market models. That's not correct too. Question 3. In a perfectly competitive market, a few firms will dominate the market structure. This is not correct. We have many small firms. Economic profits will be driven down to zero in the short run. This is not correct. Economic profits will be driven down to zero in the long run. In the short run, economic profits could be greater than zero or less than zero or equal to zero. It will eventually reach long-run equilibrium. This is correct. Because of the competition, this market is going to reach to a long-run equilibrium. Firms will compete for businesses by setting different prices at or above the prevailing equilibrium price. This is not correct, because these firms cannot set their prices. Question 4. A firm in a purely competitive market structure calculates profit using the following equation. So profit is total revenue minus total cost. Therefore, the right answer is this one. Question 5. The profit maximizing condition for a purely competitive firm is when, so let's check the answers. First of all, if you are making profit, these profits are greater than zero, then the price is greater than average total cost. So per unit you sell the product, you're spending less per unit than the price you receive. And price is less than average total cost, you're not maximizing profit, you are making a loss. Price is equal to average total cost, you're making zero economic profit. Therefore, the right answer is the third option. Question 6. A strawberry farm operating in a perfectly competitive market is operating below break-even point. Break-even point when price equals to ATC. So that means zero economic profit. What is the best thing to do in the short run? So since this is a perfectly competitive market, if you increase the price of the strawberry, you are going to lose all your customers. So the first option is not correct. Borrow money and buy more capital equipment. You are going to increase the total cost by doing that. When price is equal to ATC, that means total revenue is equal to total cost. So if you increase the total cost, you're making a loss. Hire workers, the same idea, you are going to increase total costs and total cost is going to exceed total revenue. And consider shutting down or stopping production. So since now we are below the break-even point, price is less than ATC. And if price is less than ATC, you are making a loss. So you can think about shutting down in the short run if the price is less than average variable cost. And you can stop producing if this condition continues in the long run and exit the industry. So therefore, the right answer is the last option. Question 7. In the short run, a strawberry farm operating in a perfectly competitive market would produce strawberries at a profit. So we need to find in which case the firm is making a profit. So let's start with the first option. They sell each package of strawberries for $5. So now let's understand this. So they are selling at $5 and they are paying for the labor or operating costs, variable costs, $4.75. So in the short run, all fixed costs are sunk. So what does that mean? That means if you, for instance, lease the land and you lease the land for 12 months, you are committing to pay the lease for the 12 months, whether you make money or not. So this 12 months represents the short run. That means any month in this 12 months, the fixed cost is sunk. The reason is because you have to pay it, regardless of you do the production or not. So when we calculate the profit in the short run, we can ignore the fixed cost. So when you ignore the fixed cost, what is left is variable cost. Variable cost represents the amount of labor you hire and anything that varies with the production. So if you're selling at $5 and you spent per unit $4.75 per labor, then you are making a profit in the short run. That's not true for the long run. This is because fixed cost becomes variable too. So for that reason, first answer is correct. Let's look at the other options. They sell each package of strawberries for $5. Price is $5. And total cost is $5. So you are making a zero economic profit. Their fixed costs are less than their variable costs. We need to know the price to make a decision whether you are making a profit or not. Set the price for each package of strawberries above the prevailing equilibrium price in a perfectly competitive market. If you do that, you are going to lose all your customers. Question 8. Assume the purely competitive market is in long-run equilibrium. For some reason, market demand increases. What would happen? So at the first place, all firms would achieve economic profit because increase in market demand is going to increase the price. Just let's think about this. This is price, this is quantity, this is supply, this is demand. Now for some reason, the demand increases, it shifts the demand curve to the right. And now the market price, as you see, increases. Therefore, at first, all firms would achieve economic profit. But when the price increases and firms are making economic profit, more firms will enter to the market. More firms will enter. If that is the case, economic profit will fall back to zero as new firms enter the market. So the right option is the second one. Question 9. For a constant cost industry in a purely competitive market structure, whenever there is an increase in market demand and price, then the supply curve is going to shift to the right and stops at the point where the new long-run equilibrium intersects the same market price as before. So you just need to understand a constant cost industry. constant cost industry has a horizontal long run cost curve. So the prices could increase in the short run. Okay, you might have a price here. But then because of entry of the new firms, you are going to come back to the previous price. And the long run cost curve is going to be constant. Question 10. How would you explain allocative efficiency in a purely competitive market? So allocative efficiency represents a point, a consumption bundle where people prefer and maximizes social welfare, social benefit. So first of all, we know that all points that are allocatively efficient are efficient in production. That means you are using all your resources to produce that bundle. But to be allocatively efficient, you also choose a point where society prefers. Therefore, in a purely competitive market, the outcome is allocatively efficient because firms produce the quantity where the price consumer pay equals the cost to society to produce it. Next, I'm going to solve some questions from Edfinity assignment. Let's start with question 8. The table below shows cost data for producing different amounts of computers. Use the given information to answer the questions below. How many would a competitive firm produce if the market price was $13? So let's first understand the decision making to maximize the profit. We should have this condition: price equals MC equals MR. And since price equals MR, we can just use this first two. Price should be equal to MC. And in this question, marginal cost is given. So when the price is $13, this $13 should be equal to marginal cost. And marginal cost is $13 when the firm produces 15 units. So therefore, this firm should produce 15 units. The right answer for the first one is 15 units. If the market price is $13 in the long run, will firms enter or exit to the market? So enter and exit to the market depends whether the price is greater than average total cost or not. So if the price is $13, ATC is equal to, we can go to the table and read it, it's $13. The average total cost is 22.45 because when price is $13, profit maximizing quantity is 15. And at that quantity, ATC is 22.47. And as you see, price is less than ATC. And in this situation, firms are making a loss in the long run. So they are going to exit the market. Let's do question 7. The table below shows cost data for producing different amounts of dishwashers. Use the given information to answer the questions below. Now, the first one is, if the market price is $14 and we know that marginal cost should equal to price for profit maximization, and marginal cost is equal to $14 when the quantity is 27. So this is profit maximizing quantity. Therefore, we can write it here, 27. If the market price was $14, would the firm shut down? So here, for shutdown decision, remember that it's a short run decision and we compare price with average variable cost because fixed costs are sunk and you have to pay it no matter you produce or not. Therefore, the only thing that you can change is whether to pay average variable cost or not. So if price is greater than equal to AVC, then you don't shut down, you operate. But if price is less than AVC, you shut down. So we need to check AVC at quantity 27. When quantity 27, AVC is equal to 9.33. So for that reason, this firm shouldn't shut down because the price is higher than AVC. Therefore, the right answer is no. If the market price was $14, would the firm operating at a profit? So to understand whether the firm is making a loss or a profit at this optimization condition, because this optimization may refer to a situation that the firm can minimize the loss. In order to understand whether the firm is making profit or not, you compare P with ATC. because if the price covers all the costs, then you are making a profit. We know that optimal quantity is 27. At 27, the average total cost is 9.59 and the price is 14. Since price is greater than ATC, this firm is operating at a profit. Next question that I'm going to solve is question 11. So you are given a graph and the quantities, and now we need to find out at what price and quantity will a firm produce in this market. Firm is going to produce where price equals marginal cost, and price curve is always horizontal. Therefore, the horizontal curve is the price or demand curve. And now we need to find out what is the marginal cost curve. Marginal cost curve is an increasing curve when the quantities increases. Therefore, the upward sloping curve that looks like supply curve is the marginal cost curve. The intersection of these two represents the profit maximizing quantity. In this case, it is F. And at what price and quantity this firm produce in this market, price is going to be C dollars and the quantity will be F units. So C represents 40, so you're going to type it here 40, and F represents 40. Will the firm stay open or shut down? So stay open or shut down depends whether this price curve that you see is above the average variable cost or not at the profit maximizing quantity. So we need to find out which one is an ABC curve. ABC curve is the one below the price curve. So therefore, this is the ABC curve. So at that quantity F, for sure the price curve is above the ABC. Therefore, price is greater than ABC, and the firm shouldn't shut down, stay open. If this graph is representative of firms in this market in the long run, will firms exit or enter the market? To make enter and exit decision, we need to compare price with ATC in the long run because all inputs are variable in the long run. So let's find out which one represents the ATC. This one is ATC. And since the price curve, as you see, is below the ATC for profit maximizing in all quantity levels, the firms should exit this market. Therefore, the right answer is exit. And the last question I'm going to solve is question 14. The graph below presents the average variable and average total cost for the firm Multimax Inc. Because this firm is in a perfectly competitive market, the price that Multimax Inc. faces is represented by a horizontal line. Shift the price curve to represent a point where Multimax would shut down. So this firm is going to shut down if this price is below ABC. Anything below ABC, this firm is going to shut down. So any price below $13. So $13 is not a shutdown point, but any price below $13 represents a shutdown. So you should move these little bit lower, and then any price below 13, the firm is going to shut down. So these are the questions that I have for today. I hope these solutions are helpful for your studies. Thank you.